So I'm just going to get right on it because it's Monday and we're back, Louise and I, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation because we're going to talk about insight. And insight was a word I don't think I'd ever used very much until fairly recently. I mean, I heard of it. I heard of it, but it wasn't a word that I had thought about or used very much. And it's only since I got into this conversation around, the inside out um, way of seeing
Innate,
the world. Thank you.
innate health. Yeah,
Innate health and
yeah.
all of that, that insight became something
Mm.
to really kind of go, oh. And I actually remember having an insight about insight one day on the I was at the yard and I suddenly went, oh, insight. It's something that happens in me. It's something that
Mm.
anyway. So that's what we're going to talk about, uh,
Hmm. Yeah,
and who knows where it's going to go.
yeah. Who knows? We'll probably have an insight along the way.
Well, that would be good.
Yeah,
That would be good. So I've kicked us off, but would you like to? Shall I hand over to you? Do you
can
want?
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go on. So
yeah,
so
yeah. So similar for me, I probably wouldn't have used the word insight. Probably, I think I more might have used a word like intuition.
okay.
You know, and I had probably noticed in the past before all of this inside out sort of understanding that I remember when I was uh, pregnant and had Charlie, who's very small, um, or when I'd had both the boys, it seemed to me like my intuition at that point was much, much stronger than I'd ever seen it before. It just seemed to like kick up a notch because I'd got these young babies. And yeah, so just little things like you'd sort of think, oh, should I take a change of clothes and an extra nappy? Nah, I'll be fine. I'll just, just. And then of course you needed it. I mean, that sounds obvious, but when it's given you an extra nudge, you think, well, I don't know, I'll leave it. Yeah. And so I think aha moments is another one, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
And
yeah. Aha, light bulb moment
yeah,
is
light bulb
something I
moments.
probably would
Yeah.
have would have been more familiar with.
Yeah. I mean, you hear people say, "Oh, I've just realized
Yeah,
that that's kind of an insight, I'm sure."
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it is. That's how I. In fact, it's interesting that what you've started talking about intuition. I'm not sure that I've ever put those two things together, intuition
Oh,
and insight. So
oh,
that's interesting.
that's an insight.
I think, we change our minds, don't we? All the time.
Yeah.
But often that's a result of getting, you know, I don't know, new information that we've kind of looked for, or talking to somebody, or being persuaded, or that sort of thing. So I don't know. I honestly, Louise, I think I was so kind of in my head for
Mm,
most of my life that I wouldn't have said I was particularly intuitive, except maybe around the horses a bit more. Somehow
mm.
that brought me, I felt, but I didn't see it as that,
No.
which is,
That's interesting that you say that because I could imagine, because people are very, very busy-minded, and then therefore they're trying to figure out an answer through their busy mind.
yeah,
And I could imagine that when you're with your horses, that's when you relaxed, and that's when those insights or
yeah,
intuition bits came through, and then you were able to listen.
And when I got into natural horsemanship, which was about 25 years ago, really, when I kind of jumped ship and went all alternative, as they say, my mentor used to say, do your feeling during the day and your thinking at night. That was one of, he had lots of things he used to say, but that was kind of one of them.
Mm,
And I'm not sure exactly what he meant, but it was kind of, I think if he'd have maybe not said thinking and say, do your reflecting at night, but
yeah,
basically I think what he was asking us to or pointing to was be there, be with your horse,
yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to being in your head.
Mm,
And I remember that I used to struggle when I was um, training with my peers to become an instructor and a horse development specialist or whatever, because I was in my head and I was so self-conscious about, and also when my mentor was around, I'd fall over my stick and ropes,
yeah,
and I remember just finding it really hard to to be in the moment because I was so worried about, looking silly in front of other people and feeling
mm,
not as good as them, and too old as well, because I was one of the oldest in the groups.
yeah,
So I was in my head, um in a thinking, trying to figure it out and
mm,
make sure I got things right.
mm, mm.
So um so I think probably if I'd used the word insight in those days, I would have thought it meant think more.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, get a resolution through thinking
Yeah,
more about, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And what you just said there reminded me of times at work when I've, say, gone out into the community, maybe with another occupational therapist or a supervisor or something, and had a lot of thinking about that. And so I would find myself like stumbling or couldn't open the door properly or dropping my pen or just feeling like a buffoon. Like, what, why am I doing this? I don't normally act like this. I'm normally completely calm and confident in what I'm doing, but because I've got another person with me, I'm like clumsy.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
bizarre.
yeah,
That's bizarre. So I'm just overthinking over what are they watching me? Because we do have to do on-task supervision, so they
yeah,
are watching you,
yeah. We
but
do the
they're
same.
very nice about it. They're not. I'm just having too much thinking.
Yeah. Um, and it's, I mean, yeah, earlier on, I've shared a video where I talk about when I recognized insight, and I talk about an incident that now, um, a moment where everything changed for me, a big shift with the horses, which was, um, it was the first time I kind of looked back and I went, oh, that was one of those moments. That was
Yeah,
one of those moments because it was to do with me asking Socks to do something and he was unable to do it. And the instructor pointed out that I was so keen and intense to get it done and to do it properly
mm,
that my energy was actually driving him away. He couldn't, I wanted him to come to me without me dragging on a rope. I wanted him
yeah.
just to be able to approach me, and he couldn't. Um, and she walked behind me and said, "Yeah, I wouldn't come to you either." And I remember being at that moment being really upset, thinking, why? What I didn't understand, and it was And when she explained about my energy and how I was showing up, I had that moment of total um, understanding about seeing something new.
mm,
And it was one of the biggest, not one of the biggest insights I've had in my life that actually caused me to totally change direction.
mm.
You
Amazing.
know, it was a life changing moment,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Um, it was, and I remember it was emotional too. I was,
Mm,
it was huge. It was huge,
yeah.
and it was like it set me off on a completely new path.
Wow.
Which sent me to America and all sorts.
Oh, wow. That's really, really big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But at that time, I didn't know that that's what we're talking about.
Mm,
I didn't see it as something that we are innately
mm,
capable of, that we have a capacity for insight. I didn't see it as anything at all. I just didn't, you know, I was too
mm.
caught up in the impact of it
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
focus on the
To reflect on
kind of
what
on the
happened.
mechanics of it, mechanical.
Yeah.
But do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. I
That
do.
that it was a kind of part of being human and part of the system,
Yeah.
um, and when I did see it, there are several others throughout my life which I can go back and go, oh yes,
Mm, mm.
that you know, um,
Yeah. I had a big one, a big insight, and that was again before I knew about this sort of inside out stuff. But I think I'd always had not great experiences in work wherever I worked. And I put that down to, um, I think I was quite a competent person, and somehow that always led other people to feel threatened by me.
okay,
But I innocently just got on with my job, and then people would be like, as if like, she's doing it better than me, but there was no intention. It was just that's just how it was. So, in a work situation, uh, every time we had a meeting with other professionals, I always felt a little bit on my guard and a bit distant. And then this particular time, I thought, actually, I'm going to go into this meeting as if I've never been to it before. I like the people that are in the meeting, but there was just something about the energy in the meeting that was off. So I thought this time I'm just going to go into the meeting, say hello to people, have a bit of a chat before it starts, and just come in with a completely different feeling. And actually, that was huge because it just completely changed the tone. I think for me, definitely for me, maybe for others too, because
mm,
everybody wasn't quite so on their guard because I'd kind of did a little chat with everybody and kind of relaxed people, if you know what I mean. And it just changed the rest of the day.
yeah,
It was,
yeah,
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 yeah.
huge.
I think, I mean, I was this. I wanted to talk about this today because over the weekend I was talking to some people and I was trying to explain what an insight is. and and it is quite hard, isn't it, to people know, and we've already said, light bulb moments, aha moments, a realization, I suddenly realized XYZ, etc. But
Yeah.
I and there's something about it though that's really kind of profound, and because it's it's not just seeing something different. It is like having new eyes. It's like completely,
Yeah.
and everything. Well, I guess you can have big insights and little insights, but for me, what it means is that everything you thought before about whatever it is,
Mm.
kind of falls away
Yeah.
and doesn't make sense.
Mm. True.
And what I love about that is there's no effort or less effort required to change.
Mm. Yeah.
Because what you thought before just looks doesn't.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Does that?
Absolutely. Yeah. 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 And yeah, totally. Because you can't, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it
Yeah,
somehow. So it
yeah,
just shifts everything slightly. And then you're looking with new eyes at this situation,
yeah.
and this relationship. Oh, it just changes things.
Yes. And I think I remember another one I had years ago about smoking.
Mm.
And I smoked for a long time. I didn't start until I was um, living in Italy because I was homesick, I think. But I gave up loads of times. I gave it when I was pregnant. I gave it when the kids were small. Um, and eventually, I used to smoke rollies in the end, very thin. It's part of my hippie identity. But and I tried lots of things, hypnosis, patches, chewing gum. I tried it all. And every time I gave up, I used to feel like a smoker who'd quit.
Yeah.
And then one day I was uh I used to do hospital car driving.
Mm.
It was part of my all my part-time jobs to earn money to go back to America.
Yeah.
And um and I was taking this person to the hospital, and it was a lovely sunny day, and I was allowed to park right by the main entrance. And the chap got out. I can't remember much about him, to be honest, but he went into the hospital, and I sat there, wound the window down, picked up my baccy, and started to roll a cigarette. I had the radio on, it was just. And I remember looking across to the main entrance, and this is when you could smoke outside still. And it was a big hospital, lots of people outside, and there was this one guy, and he was in a wheelchair. He only had one leg. He was attached to a drip thing, you know, and he didn't look well.
No.
And he was trying to light a cigarette. And it was a little bit windy. It was sunny and warm, but there was quite a breeze, bit like today, actually. And he was coughing as well. And he kept coughing and blowing out his
Mm.
lighter. And I don't know what I thought. I can't tell you what I thought, but something just hit me. I was watching him and I was like, oh my God, and like I say, I can't tell you exactly what I thought, but I had this massive, like, how crazy is that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I stopped rolling and I just put it down and I put it in the little thing in the dashboard, and I watched him and I just sat there and I didn't smoke. And then the guy came out and I drove home.
Mm.
That's the last time I smoked.
Wow. Yeah.
And I didn't even make a like a in other times I made a big ritual about giving up. I'd even thrown thrown it in the bin and all this sort of thing. I think it sat there, my backy pouch, for weeks really, until I actually cleaned it out.
Mm.
But that was just a complete like shift.
Yeah. Mm.
And I wish I could market it.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
it
You never
isn't.
know.
No.
You never know how, what it, like you say, you don't necessarily know it was a particular thought. It was just yeah, what would you call that? Just a movement.
Realization.
Hi,
Realization.
hi,
Yeah.
Christina.
Hi,
Hi.
Christina. Sorry, we're it's lovely to have you here. So we're deep into our conversation. So um but it's really nice that you've joined us.
Yeah, thank you, Christina. Yeah, because I think when we talk about insights, I think they're glimpses. They're glimpses of actually what we do have inside, which is infinite, actually. So creativity, compassion, kindness, love, productivity, also it's all there. It's just that we get these little snippets, that just come through.
Yeah.
And you could say, oh yeah, I had one insight, but really it's all there. We've just got to tap into it a little bit. Sometimes it needs a quiet mind to, because we said in the title, didn't we? Can you force an insight?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't think you can.
No,
I,
I
although I think an exception might be if you were in like a time of trauma, like a fight flight. Sometimes I think that is like an action to go, like an insight to do something. I think that might be an exception. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I do know what you mean. And I know that um part of my, as you know, part of my journey with all of this has been with a charity called iHeart. And they talk about facilitating insight. And also there's another person, George Pransky, actually, who talks about the bus stop for insight. I don't know if you've heard that.
No, I haven't heard that. No.
Okay, well, it basically means that there's a way of showing up that makes you more, open to having insight, if you like. Without,
Okay.
it's not really a strategy, but, and I know that my understanding of, as my understanding of how we work psychologically has, um, deepened, and I've understood more about, the thoughts and feelings, and being two sides of a coin. You're living in the feeling of your thoughts. That has kind of diving into that understanding has really helped me because um like you know we think that people and situations make us feel, don't we?
Hmm.
Talk about that all the
Yes.
time. We sing
Yeah.
songs about it, for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for most of the population of the world think that things make you feel. And when you start to really realize that your feeling is coming from your experience of whatever's going on in the moment, that kind of changes things a little bit. It's coming from you.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we were kind of encouraged to do in iHeart was whenever we felt we were caught up in a feeling of something making us feel happy, sad, angry, frightened, whatever, doesn't matter, to just kind of, press pause for a minute and ask that question. Is that true? Is it true that that person is making me feel annoyed? Do
Mm,
you know what
mm.
I mean?
I do. I love that question.
And
You can,
so, yeah, and within that, under the training, it was that question was like a compass to point you back to yourself,
mm,
because it's it slows you down. It quietens your mind a little bit. It brings you back to the present moment, and that in itself leaves you more open to seeing something new,
yes.
and to hearing it, because I think that what you were talking about before, that insight is our wisdom talking to us.
Mhm.
But often, because we're listening to the noise, the chatter, chatter, chatter all the time, we can't hear it.
Yeah.
So for me, that question has been a really helpful way of
Yeah.
kind of, I suppose, facilitating insight. It brings me to the insight bus stop.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, and it applies to lots of things like our fears, like fear of, you know, applying for a new job, or fear of, looking for a new relationship, or fear of driving, like a driving lesson, or and it could be anything really. And you've got all these reasons why not to do something. And you could just say, is that true?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a that's a similar question, isn't it?
Mm, yeah.
And so much of what we are preoccupied with isn't actually true. It's
No,
not real
no.
because it's either gone in the past or imagination in the future.
Yeah. And you can be in, difficult circumstances, need to pay a bill, or, struggling in a relationship. But you can still sort of pause and say, is this really as bad as it looks, or am I just making it seem that way? Which is, that's what we do. We make it look harder than it is with our thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Christine? Christina, sorry.
Yeah, I've had, I just recalling, I've had two or three in the last few days, insights.
Great.
Yeah, I think the more settled you are and listen, you're kind of listening within, I suppose.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I went to see two friends. They used to be partners. One's in a care home, one's in hospital.
Okay.
And when I came away, I thought, neither of them can move. One's very weak, and the other lady, I think the lady had a fall. So she's in a bed with high sides, can't
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
And, I thought it's just a luxury, really, to be able to get up and go, do what you want with your body, and how fragile we can be. Um, can happen. Yeah, so just enjoy our good health. And there's another one, I was doing a course recently, narrative therapy, and it's about the stories we tell ourselves and we live them. And the question came up, I think it came to me myself. Why do I tell myself a negative story about childhood? Why is that the only thing I remember? Because it wasn't like that. So I had permission to change my story.
Wow.
Sounds silly, doesn't it? And I used to love coconut yogurt, no other, but a plant-based coconut yogurt. And we went shopping the other day. My friend bought it. I thought, I'm not having that. And milk, I don't have anymore. Used to have coconut milk and margarine, a plant-based margarine. I'm not having it. And
That's it.
that
That's
was
it. Oh,
No, it's funny, and sometimes insights are just they are like just like that. Oh, I'm not,
yeah.
and it just is so. Funnily enough, it was around food that this conversation started over the weekend because um I was we were talking about food and I just mentioned, oh, I know, they were buying coffees and cakes, and somebody said, because I didn't have a cake, somebody said, well, aren't you gonna have, and I said, no, I said I don't really want one anymore. And I said, actually, I kind of almost gave up sugar most since January. And they were like, oh my God, how did you do that? And I said, well, actually, it was really easy.
Mm.
And they thought, I willpower and all this. And I went, nah. I said, because if it would willpower, it would have run out by the February, definitely. Probably
Yes.
before. I said, no, again, I don't remember exactly the moment or what I thought. I was, but there was a moment. I know there
Mm,
was a moment, and I just went, oh God, stop. It was
yeah.
almost like I suddenly noticed that I was having, a biscuit with every cup of tea and a piece of shortbread with it, or something like that. I
Mm,
honestly can't remember. And I just thought, oh, I've got to stop this. I don't, not even I've got to stop this. I'm not, I don't want this anymore, you know. And I mean, we're 6 months in, and
mm.
I'm, I still, in fact, honestly, there's a tin of shortbread on the dresser that's still there. Jim doesn't know it's there.
Yeah,
But do you know what I mean? It's like, no.
I do. I remember when I used to smoke as well, and my husband said, "We're not going to have children if you're smoking. So if you want children, you need to stop smoking." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I remember driving along and thinking, "What on earth do people do in their cars when they're driving if they're not smoking? How do you do that?" I just couldn't get my head
Yeah,
round.
yeah,
How do you not do that while you're
yeah,
driving?
yeah, I know
It's
exactly.
crazy. And then actually what I did was, because my brother said, "Well, you're really not serious about children if you're still smoking, are you?" So I thought about it. And then what I started to do was look on the internet about what does smoking do to the placenta, to the back. It was horrific. So it was actually quite easy to stop at
Yeah.
that point.
Well, I mean, that's almost the same as me watching this poor guy, because it just was so ridiculous that he was
Yes. Yeah. Why am
coughing,
I why am I
you know.
putting that in my mouth, drawing it into my
Yeah.
lungs? What a
And
ridiculous thing to
yeah.
do.
And I also actually I remember now something that came to mind, because I remember thinking that I was a bit stupid like that as well, that when I had a cold or a sore throat, I would have a cigarette with a lemsip. And I was like, that's ridiculous.
I'm
That's,
determined to
I'm
smoke
determined to
even
kill
with a sore
myself.
throat. Yeah, that's great. I did that too. I
And
remember
I,
once I had a
yeah,
sore throat so bad that I was having, I don't know, penicillin or something. Still smoking.
yeah, with a throat sweet at the same time, so that you could
Yes.
inhale. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And I also remember thinking that I would never be able to enjoy a cup of tea or a glass of wine again, ever.
Yeah.
And I used to watch EastEnders, and I'd think, oh my God, I won't be able to watch EastEnders because
Oh no. I used to think, what on earth do you do after a meal's finished?
I
Don't
wasn't
know.
sure you were going to say that.
No, 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 no. No, I'm not going there.
Oh dear.
Oh
I
dear.
love these conversations, honestly.
Yes. How funny. Oh.
Oh dear. So, I mean, so let's, how long have we been chatting? 40 minutes. Okay, so we need to kind of round this up a little bit. But I'd really want this to be helpful to somebody
Yeah.
as opposed to just um entertaining.
Well, can I say that I feel, I don't know what you two feel, that insight feels different to just a thought.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Christina, how do you feel it's different?
I feel it comes from the body. It wasn't not to have the yogurt. It wasn't a head thing. It's
Hmm.
still in the fridge there.
Yeah,
Someone's eaten it, but I'm not. And I get this little niggle sometimes. Oh, if you're going to have that, what about a little bit of yogurt with it? And I said,
yeah,
no, I'm not doing it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You've
yeah,
got a yogurt monster in your head.
It's my
yeah,
body that doesn't
Yeah.
want it.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not me, it's my body doesn't want it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I agree. And I think it's like a thought or an idea is a bit different because it's busier somehow. I can't really
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah.
Whereas an insight to me is
It's like a
quieter. Yeah.
whole body thing.
Yeah.
Just
Like it,
don't
mm,
know. It's just a no all round.
yeah, 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 exactly. It's like a knowing, like it
Mm,
came, like you say, it came from inside or somewhere else. Like it's deeper, it's quieter,
mm.
and it's not so frantic or not so well busy.
It's not
It,
pushy. It's not
yes,
pushy. It's nothing.
yeah,
You can't argue with it. It's just true.
exactly. Yeah, it's just like a thing that it's always been there. I just haven't heard it.
Mm.
So I'm just thinking, would you like to? It's one of my favorite books.
Life is a
Oh, why can't I
metaphor.
do this? It's because life is a
The
metaphor.
Mm.
Pransky,
Pransky.
George. Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's lovely. Shall I read you the bus stop? It's very
Yes.
short
Okay.
because it might be helpful for people. So the bus stop. The bus stop for insight is a quiet, reflective mind. The insight bus rarely stops anywhere else. Unfortunately, the insight bus has no schedule, so you never know when it's going to come. But it has a reputation for arriving when needed. The Insight Bus does occasionally make unscheduled stops at unexpected places. Sometimes in the middle of panic, desperation, or high emotion, the mind will quiet for a moment and an insight will come. At these moments, we find ourselves at the bus stop for insight. But when we want regular, dependable service, we must provide an open and quiet mind. That's where we can guarantee the insight bus will stop for us eventually.
Mm. Well,
That's
I love
lovely.
that.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's lovely. Let me ask you this question, both of you. Do you feel that meditation is helpful for insights? A lot of people, have hold a
Um,
lot of store for meditation.
Actually,
Presence.
yeah,
Uh,
Mm,
I do.
Definitely, I try and be present in
yeah,
everything I do. It's not just that I stop and sit, although that's good as well
yes,
sometimes, but in everything I do, have that presence.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I agree. When
yeah.
when I talk about my book, when I did the library tour, I often had a question about meditation because when I'm trying to explain about the presence and being in the now, I think, which is fine, but kind of out there that they talk about meditation, that's how to do it. Whereas I don't see that myself so much. I see daydreaming is a lovely way of just go outside, look at the clouds. That helps me.
There's,
Yeah.
there's a different energy outside.
Yeah,
It's just so everything's doing its bit, and that's what it does. And it's just wonderful. It's like freeing your mind, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting though, because I don't really meditate, but I do kind of it's not really daydream. When I ride and I sing actually when I ride.
Oh, that's lovely.
Well, my horse's ears are going ooh, 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 like this. But what's what's interesting is I sometimes have really moments of, and I'm not sure if this is an insight or just a really good idea. When I'm doing something, when I'm driving,
Mm,
when I'm sweeping the yard, when I'm doing something that keeps my mind kind of not intellect, I don't mean, but keeps my mind busy,
yeah.
I get, I get, I often have
Mm.
moments where I get, and sometimes I pull over because I'm like, oh my God, I never thought of that before.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think, um, I don't know how that fits into your question of meditation, but it's almost like, giving your mind, because when I
Mm,
have meditated, I've had to really focus on my breathing or something, and that's been quite helpful. So
yeah,
it's almost similar to,
yeah.
you know, watching your breathing or sweeping the yard kind of thing,
Yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
to a
Giving
rhythm.
your
Yeah,
giving your busy mind something to do,
Yeah.
when you're driving, I think you are quite present usually.
usually. Unless you find you got somewhere and like, how did that happen?
Yeah, or you rock up at a house you used to live in. I did that the other day.
Oh, did you?
I was like, what am I doing here?
Oh
I haven't
no.
lived there for 6 years. And it was only when I started to pull in, I realized they'd changed the car park. I was like, what am I doing here? So yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But yeah, it reminds me of was it the Karate Kid? When you wax
Wax
on,
on.
wax off.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
kind of that always comes to my mind because I'm not the biggest fan of housework, but I kind of say, right, okay, let's just get into it. Let's just wash those pans and then just feel the hot water, scrub this. So I kind of make myself be present and
That's
then
lovely. Yeah.
and then I'm enjoying the housework, which is a
Mm.
bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you done that? And then if I do that, then I'll go out the door and I'll come back in and think, oh yeah, it feels different in here. Have you
Yeah,
ever done that? Because you've
yeah,
been present.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like, I don't
yeah.
know. It's just,
Yeah. I have another little game I play sometimes actually, because I can walk to the stables from my home, and I do it all the time, and it's about half a mile from door to door, and and I play this game to see what I can notice that I haven't seen before.
oh,
Oh, nice.
And sometimes it's something really, like the other day I was playing this and I saw a light switch on the side of the barn that I'd never noticed before.
Okay.
And I was like, well, there you go. I've never seen that before. And it's obviously been there for ages because
Yeah.
it's old. It's not, but playing little games like that can be quite fun.
Yeah, it's very true. I think if you're present, because the other day I said to my husband, "Oh, look, those people have got a new whatever RV or something." He said they've had that for weeks. Have they? Oh dear.
Yeah, yeah,
mm,
yeah.
mm.
Well, it wasn't in your experience, that's all.
True. Yeah.
And there's a whole nother conversation.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, this
But
has been
coming back
lovely, isn't
to,
it?
I just
Yeah,
want to say,
yeah, no,
coming
go
back
on.
to the original, when you talked about being with people and listening to them talk about the world, how everything's a struggle. I do find that hard. And like you say, I have to bite my lip because I want to sort of say, well, I do say quite often, uh, my world isn't like that, you know,
Mm.
especially things like Facebook. People will say, oh, I got this, and this comes up, and this comes up. And I'm like, I have none of that on my thing because I'm not looking for it. I'm not going to click it. That's not in my universe at all. And it's not that I'm ignoring what's going on out in the world. It's just that I choose to be on this vibration, this energy, this contentment. And I just want to share that,
Mm.
not the other stuff. Um, so I don't know, that's not particularly anything to do with insights, but I just, that's kind of where I'm living from
Mm.
because anything other doesn't feel right to me anymore.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. It's like I find myself sometimes sitting there thinking, yeah, but it doesn't have to be that way. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
like, um, yeah,
That's that's a good topic for another time, isn't it?
yeah, that's a good topic for another time. Okay.
Well, thank you, Christina, for
Yeah, thank you for
joining us.
Christina.
Thank you both.
It's lovely.
Good.
Yeah,
Um,
fantastic. It's nicer to have another person to kind of bounce things off. It's lovely.
yes. So if you have any ideas of anything that crops up that you'd like us to talk about, because we do this every Monday, every other Monday,
Okay.
pretty much. I don't think we haven't missed a week since we started, have we? We did one on a Tuesday, that's all, over
Yeah,
holiday.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
I'm going to see if I can find that button that stops the record.
okay. Thank you.
So we'll say goodbye
Thank
and
you.
I'll get the button pressed.